The 11th round of the Integrity Octane Series is here and now, and for the second time this season, we are at a SuperSpeedway, but we're at the shortest in NASCAR, the 1.5 mile newly reconfigured Atlanta Motor Speedway. And as it stands, Seth Noel, the top man on the board by 38 thousandths of a second over Nick Tarbuck in position number 2. Qualifying underway with 2 minutes and 33 seconds on the board as we get things going. 30 drivers are here tonight as many go onto the track for the first time. I'll be your host for tonight's broadcast. I am David Kreutz, glad to have you all along for the ride. It's going to be a wild ride for 130 laps of action here in Atlanta. Last night we went racing for 100 at Michigan and we went green all the way. Will we see that tonight? Of course, that is up in the air. It could happen. A lot of the same drivers from last night are here and now, but the next gen's new Atlanta. It's all new to most of these drivers, so we'll see whether or not the expertise overall will carry over to some of the trickiest combinations in iRacing itself. Bobby Ross going to be qualifying second on the board, provisionally there as it stands, as he goes through 3 and 4. This time, the number 44 machine for Indy Autosport gets usurped, and now the number 12 machine of Ross Cato is in second by 18 thousandths of a second. There we go. Ross Cato going to be in second. Cody Smith right now on the charts. He's going to be in ninth, and Matt Jonas going to be in position number 10. Sam Nito going to be in position number 12 at the moment, going to be in that top dozen as Chris Schetzler is 17th, and Kenny Reel returns in number 28 machine, going down the backstretch as it stands in position number 19. And the timing and scoring reel going to be Brad Patton right now getting his lap number 1, and he has 2 more times around for him at the very least if he wants to get a successful qualifying run in. Comes out of the stripe this time by going to be at 31.94. That puts Pat into the position number 19 now. So Brad's got a long way to go to make this one happen, but so far has a lot of speed coming into this lap. Half a second quicker than his last lap. This time through, goes through the middle groove or the middle seam on the backstretch, and then goes all the way down low. Atlanta, one of the simplest tracks in NASCAR, full throttle for 1.5 miles, shorter than Daytona or Talladega, but it has its own unique variables and challenges. For one, it is much narrower. As you can see, Brad Patton makes his way through up into 8th on the board. The number 1 machine will have to deal with far less racing room as the night goes on. It will become a challenge to even go 3 wide, let alone 4 or 5 wide, like what we've seen at tracks like Daytona and Talladega before. So right now, Cody Smith is going to come down to pit road, practicing for a green flag stop, but it's no stop. It's all go for Seth Noel, who steals the show in qualifying and rounds out qualifying as your pole sitter. So with that being said, going to be 5 minutes of warm-up here and now in the newly improved Atlanta Motor Speedway. The aerial shot there on your screen, a beautiful circuit in Hampton, Georgia, and right now it's going to be one final time for drivers to practice on it before the race gets on its way. First man out looks to be Luis Caballero, and Luis going to be on his way off of pit road. His office stall looks to get on the track in just a moment's notice. And as we get this thing going, starting grid, my apologies, going to be on your screen in just a moment, and 130 laps to get done here in Atlanta. Now, first time we went to a super speedway all season long was, of course, the season opener at Daytona. Cody Smith, the one who won at that event. But tonight, for 195 miles, we could see a new driver head to victory lane. Atlanta, the skills sometimes transfer, they sometimes do not. It's all up in the air as we get this thing going. But what is not up in the air is your starting grid for tonight's event. So without further ado, let's get right into your starting grid for round number 11 of the Integrity Octane Series. Here we go again. Going to be led by the man in that number 88, Seth Well, back in action up in front. Going to be the 31.927. That goes down to a 297 after recalculation. He's first on the board, and right beside him, going to be Ross Cato in second. 31.315 for him as Alan Dobbs is third with a 31.333. Outside row number 2, going to be Bobby Ross in fourth after a successful string of 2 straight top 10 to Ross on the best run he's had all season long, and the man in that number 44 starts in fourth, 31.333 as well. 2,000 away from him on the charts, going to be Nick Tarbuck in 5th, and it's going to be a 31.335 for him, 1,000th of a second away. Kyle Cooper in 6th with a 31.3 31.336. And in 7th, going to be 31.337. It goes down to the thousandth of a second. Alvarez going to be 7th, and Brad Patton going to be 8th with the 31.141. Not for him, but for some, going to be a 3.43 on his end in 8th. And outside of row number 10, it's going to be far from here. Outside row 5 in 10th is Boomer Logan, as Colin Gimman is in position number 9. Let's go from there. Going to be Nick Larson in that number 11 position. 6th machine making his debut, 31.357, as Cody Smith is right beside him with a 31.361. Going to be Matt Jonas there in 13th. Jacob Fife going to be in 14th. Sam Nito going to be in position number 15. And then John Steele is right there in position number 16. Caitlin Haight going to be in 17th. Nicholas Ward going to be 18th. Chris Schessler and Kenny Reel are going to be on row number 10. Schessler inside and Kenny Reel outside as we head on to your drivers past the top 20. And as you can see, it's going to be Jorge Canales there in the 21st spot, 31.627. The final driver of the time lap here in Atlanta. And from there, going to be Don Stevenson in position number 22. Strong run for him last night in Michigan for 200 miles. Came home in 2nd. Then it's going to be Jay Hageman in 23rd. Trevor Drago in position number 24. Carson Bakto going to be in 25th. And Stan Carson back on the trail, going to be in 26th. Ryan Farrell going to be 27th. Alan Ralwell going to be in 29th. And then it's going to be 28th spot. Not occupied by anyone on the grid here. Looks to be a timing and scoring error. Guy Peach 30th. Randy Fudge going to be in 31st. And that will be your starting grid for tonight's event here in Atlanta. And how about that? We jump from 27th to 29th on our end. So that's going to be a timing and scoring error, going one driver too soon. And quite frankly, not sure what's going to cause that one, but nonetheless, 31 drivers here to get this one rolling. And right now, Caballero goes down to the apron as we have just about 2 minutes remaining here in warm-up, as every driver trying to find the extra edge, the extra advantage needed to come home in victory lane. Maybe the tricks are going to be found right here and right now. We see some drivers running alone, but some are trying to get into packs as it stands. Caballero trying to run with Kenny Reel, but it looks like the distance is a bit too much. As the time goes on and distance grows much further, the draft of course becomes weaker, but the track as short as Atlanta, the cut force of the draft in the air might be a bit more intense to keep you intact. It might not be enough to make a pass. 10 drivers have taken time laps down here in your warm-up, first of which going to be Sam Nito, as he's right there with Nicholas Ward going two-car tandem down the back straightaway. Going to be Chris Schessler going right down low as he tries to pick off a piece of the draft, get right in tow. The number 2 machine going to be right in the middle, as Nicholas Ward going to be in 2nd, Bobby Ross going to be in 3rd, and now 2 drivers of the 3, all 3 back down to the apron. It looks like their runs will be done, but Sam Nito is the fastest man here in 2nd practice as we head on to the grid. The number 2 going to be position number 1. Then it's going to be Nicholas Ward in 2nd, Bobby Ross in 3rd, and Luis Caballero in position number 4. As everyone gets off the track, it's all empty one final time, and then we go for the show. 130 laps of racing here in the Integrity Octane Series, 11th round of the season, and Ross Cato already on that grid. Alan Dobbs going to be right behind him. It is Seth Well right in front of every driver right now. And that number 88 machine knows the pressure of being up front at a super speedway. Not often it lasts long, but the 88 machine has been dominant throughout the good majority of this season, running in the top 5, top 3. Just needs to get those checkered flags to put himself in contention overall. Tom Wetmore leads the championship standings because this is a playoff format at the end of the day. And right now, that number 51 machine has 3 wins on the schedule. He is locked in by far. And then while the number 51 machine is not here tonight, he is still going to be in title contention. Not by a long shot will he be out of it. Of course, there's no chance as we go through tonight. Seth Well, though, does have his chance to cut into that lead. The number 88 machine, as it stands, has 1 win going into tonight. Still chasing that 2nd, but he's been quick, and he could go into the multiples when it comes to victories if tonight goes his way. It's Ross Cato there in 2nd. Going to be Alan Dobbs in 3rd. Bobby Ross going to be in 4th. And as every driver rolls onto the grid, this time around, the number 88 machine is all about the sound of the engine. He's gonna have to pay attention to it. You got so many guys beside you and behind you. You don't want to make the wrong calls and end up in the big one. Not only will the spotter be helping you out tonight, iRacing has their own provided to every driver. You'll have to pay attention to your rear view mirror all night long, and of course keep an eye on what is in front. Lap machines might become a factor. It could come down to pickups and tire strategy. If we get a big separation, it could come down to a late race restart where everything is off the table. All bets could be off, but right now all signs point to the number 8 machine being on the money in this start. It's going to be the iRacing official pace car bowing in this time by to let the racers go at it and do their thing in Atlanta, the newest super speedway in NASCAR with the newest cars in its history. And tonight the 88 machine gets to set foot in unknown territory. Out in front has Ross Cato right behind, and right behind indeed is Bobby Ross and Alan Dobbs as well. Going to be Noel leading them in this time through round 11 for Atlanta. Underway for the first time. We are green here in Hampton, led by Seth Noel. And the yellow flag is out after one lap of racing. Let's find out what happened here. It looks like it's all the way in the back of the field. However, I'm not quite sure. Caballero, 22nd on the board here. Let's check back on the 28th spot. Guy Petra there. Randy Fiash has scored in 30th. And it looks like the yellow flag is out for Jay Haishman. Let's go look back at what happened. The entirety of the field looked to have been able to make it through. But Haishman down to pit road just like that. And Jacob Fife goes down, tucks it in. The 06 machine has the Carson Bengto machine right behind him. And as they come through, no indication of anything going on just yet. And one driver smokes it up. That's going to be Boomer Logan. And they all save it from there. Fiash going to be able to get out of it. Jay Haishman goes down low. But it was Boomer Logan involved in that. So let's find out just what happened, as it looks like the 94 might be the cause of this yellow. He was able to save it, but you can see he got it drifted all the way out. They threw the yellow, and Sam Nito gets involved, but that 94 able to save it, and everyone is straight now. But 3 laps in, your first yellow comes out at the first, and every driver, thankfully, able to make it down to the start-finish line in one piece. Going to be damaged for guys like Boomer, of course. Going to be damaged for a driver like Sam Nito as well. And that number 2 machine does seem to have some on the right side of that front end. So Matt Jonas looked to have been caught up in that one as well. And Matt Jonas right now going to be scored in the 11th position. He does have some damage though on that front, and that is evidence. So Alan Dobbs leads the way from Seth Noel, able to get the start he needed, and we're under yellow just like that. The race begins with a bang, and we're under yellow for the first time 3 laps in out of 130 here in Atlanta. And single file at the moment, every driver waiting to get back on the way. Thankfully, every driver able to save it, but iRacing going to call that yellow for the admins there. While these guys got it under control, it was signaled to iRacing that it was multiple drivers out of control with no chance of making it out of harm's way. So that's what's going to throw the yellow flag here. Automated yellows on iRacing are the thing to make sure that administration is a bit smoother. And as they come through, once again, Seth Well is right behind your new race leader of Alan Dobbs. The pole sitter falls back 1 position. It's Nick Tarbuck there in 3rd, and Ross Cato in position number 4. Guillermo Alvarez is going to be 5th. Bobby Ross going to be in 6th, and as they all go down to the stripe, 1 lap to green. And now the 05 machine leads into the first restart of the night. And with the first 4 laps in the books, when we get to the green flag for the second time tonight for your first restart, it seems like every driver getting a bit antsy already. Didn't even make it to the first lap at the start-finish line before our first yellow here. We won't be going caution-free as we did last night for 200 miles, 195 on the table for these drivers, and they'll have to find exactly what it takes to make it last till the checkers. They come down the back once again. No issue for Alan Dobbs and no issue for Seth Well either. They're still up on the front row, so nothing for them to worry about. They just have to keep the pace where it's been for the last few laps, including qualifying and practice as well. Practice makes perfect with these drivers, and right now it could be a race of perfection if Seth Well stays up in front. Atlanta is an awful challenge for drivers to pass through, and it looks like that might be the case once again. First wreck, a bit of a narrow circuit. Now drivers getting a bit more used to it. What will we see when we get down to our first restart? It all remains to be seen as the iRacing official pace car now backs it down once again. Gonna be Seth Well, Alan Dobbs leading the charge. This time Dobbs is in control as the 05 machine takes him down for a restart number 1. Let's get right back into it, led by the 05 machine. Green flags out. Second time tonight is your first restart of the show. Alan Dobbs getting right there on the inside line, but now Seth Well has momentum up high, side by side. They are 5 laps in for the race lead. Well, almost a car length clear that time through. Going to be able to get it right out to the bumper, but not enough to go down the inside line and take the clearance. It's going to be Alan Dobbs still there beside him, but Seth Well right now is just in front. He could clear if he wants to, but it looks like that he does not. Chooses to stay up high. Patient, it is proven to lead to success here in Atlanta, and as they come down the backstretch, it is no kidding. Seth Well still going to be able to lead him in as they dive through the turn number 3. There's still gridlock up in front. Middle of the pack seems to be the same difference. No driver taking a 3 wide at the moment. It's actually getting single file in the back of the field. Nothing more than 2x2 racing out in front. So it seems to be much more stable than before. It's going to be a big shunt there by Ross Cato to keep Seth Well out in front. Alan Dobbs got a major surge of momentum down to the inside line this time by, and 7 laps in, it could be the lucky number for Alan Dobbs to clear Seth Well. Back down the backstretch once again. The high side momentum prevails to be able to keep that one out in front. The 88 does, and now he's up there by a whole car length. Where does he choose to go? He stay up high that time by, does not go down, and Alan Dobbs knows the momentum would be much higher on that inside line if he did, and there'd be no way to switch right back up. Ross Cato staying in order right now, knows that he wants to give Seth Well a fair shot, not wanting to get too aggressive early, and as they come down to the stripe, once again, it is still out in front. That 88, Alan Dobbs now going to be side by side for second here as the inside line, while having more drivers, is a bit more discombobulated, and now Ross Cato is clear of that inside line as well. Seth Well could choose to go down on the inside line, make things a bit more exciting as you see debuting Nick Larson here now up in the front of the field. He's in position number 6 as it stands. Bobby Ross going to be right there in 4th as he goes side by side with Arbuck. Alan Dobbs gets a surge of momentum, gets it right by Ross Cato once again. They're side by side, not only in the front, but in the back. Take a look at this. Jacob Fife getting right there with Boomer Logan. Logan fighting with Sam Nito here for position. Both drivers, while damaged, are still running in the pack, and they're waiting for something to happen later in the race. You can see Kenny Real there. He has a clean machine, but he's also going to be trying to keep it green as the Optic Gaming number 28 is still running back without damage, knowing something dicey could happen up in front. Out front it still is side by side. Seth Well up high, Alan Dobbs down low as they come through. Same song, different verse as the backstretch is occupied by these next gens once again. Seth Well has it all up high, and he gets exactly what he needs every time off quarter exit. The momentum to lead at the start finish line. Every scoring loop that matters here in Atlanta, he seems to have the edge in and out. Alan Dobbs, though, can go down a lead in certain instances, but doesn't have that lead for long enough to be registered as the leader at the time of the yellow flag, or to be led as a lead lap driver. Remember who leads that lap, it always goes at number 88, no matter how Alan Dobbs gets the lead. Seth Well goes down low, then goes right up high. Shades of Dale Earnhardt Jr. blocking both lanes as he comes out of the stripe, this time through for lap number 12. And Seth Well now finding some confidence in that number 88, maybe the confidence that no other driver has on the circuit right now. Alan Dobbs is still dead even with Ross Cato, but Seth has found something that sort of has him cutting away from the field, although not by a large amount. Atlanta, you can't really go away from the pack. These guys are all on fixed setups. They drive just about the same. It's all about the driver, not the car. And now Alan Dobbs has figured something out. Goes down to the inside with a head full of steam, and as he comes down to the stripe, not going to be able to lead the lap, but he was leading during the middle of turn 3. Best it's been for quite a while. Lap number 13 this time by Seth Well. Back in front of this chess match out in front. Last lap for Seth Well was a 30.445. For Alan Dobbs, it was a 30.383. Lap times don't matter all too much, though. They're all up in front of the field. And right now, if you're up in front, you don't have all too much to worry about. 13 through. Seth Well holds it out in front with Alan Dobbs in second and Ross Cato there in third. Down to the stripe, the 88 still leads them. They're gridlocked, but now they're going to swap places. Seth Well down low, Alan Dobbs up high. The leaders have swapped spots, and now Ross Cato has another Ford, not in front, but behind him. Going to be that Nick Larson machine. Has to get by Bobby Ross, though, to make the Blue Ovals anything of momentum. And it's Chevy and Chevy out in front, as now Alan Dobbs gets a major shunt. Not going to be enough, though. Seth Well keeps him honest with some side draft. And aerodynamics are proven to be key early in the going here in Atlanta as they come down to the stripe this time by Seth Well. Not able to lead that lap. He was closer than Alan Dobbs, was down low, but close. No cigar doesn't mean all too much in the record books. Alan Dobbs still leads the way. Lap number 15, going to be the first lap he's led under green here as Seth Well barrels into the backstretch with not enough momentum to clear. The 05 machine still has that clearing power if he can just use it. They're dead even this time by. Alan goes way up high as we seem to be having a little bit of trouble here. They get spaced out in the middle of the field. Brad Patton, he has about a tenth of a second in front and behind the drivers he's with, and it looks like he is jumbling these guys all the way up. Kyle Cooper now has a bit more space on the back bumper, and while that doesn't matter all too much right now, it seems like the push and shove game might be getting to some drivers just a bit early. And with Seth Well leading the way on the bottom side, you can see Alan Dobbs right now getting a bit fiercer when it comes to his attempts to lead overall. He almost gets clear of Seth Well that time by, and there's no telling what he will do once he gets that top spot to himself. He could choose to do what Seth Well did and block both lanes. He could choose to go down and try to make a super team with the 88 machine, or he could just choose to stay up and not risk it at all. Well, it's clear for sure right now, and it seems like that's exactly what he's going to do. Not going to play the risky game, as now Seth Well sees that Nick Tarbuck and company are losing an awful lot of momentum on that quarter panel. He gets a bit of a tap, stays side by side almost with Ross Cato, but if Cato wanted, he could pull down and make things a bit more hectic. That he does not. Alan Dobbs leads him down to the stripe once again. Cato now has himself a much clearer path to success. He could go down low to the inside line and make it happen once again, revitalize that momentum, but it looks like that he won't. Going to be that number 88 machine of Seth Well holding it strong way down low. It's that number 44 of Bobby Ross now on the inside line to nobody but the wall, and now on the high side of Guillermo Alvarez. Alvarez has an awful lot of room in his own right, and this could be a weapon later in the going. If lines begin to communicate with one another and begin to strategize how they use their momentum, it could be the end-all be-all for all of these drivers and their strategy. Take it, for instance, if you are in the middle of the pack right now and you're told to push at a certain point and lay off at a certain point to make like a slinky sort of contraction and compression or an extraction, make it bigger. You could go up and down with your momentum, make it much tighter to start, make it much looser to finish, and give the leader all he needs to get that checkered flag for whichever line you're thinking. Now it's going to be Seth Well in a bit of trouble. He gets right back in front of Nick Tarbuck here, and he stays down low, but Tarbuck now has an awful lot of momentum, and Alan Dobbs sacrifices the field for himself, and he does not reap the benefits. 20 laps through, Seth Well holds it out in front here. Nick Tarbuck going to be in second. Guillermo Alvarez is right there in third. It has been a non-stop up and down battle between the top two guys. Rest of the field, though, has been playing stalemate here. As you can see now, Jacob Fife finds himself in hot contention with that number 22 machine of John Steele. Stan Carthen, final man with the main pack. He's in 18th as it is. Then there's a second, which goes down from Jacob Fife all the way to the man in that number position, number 31. It is 06 of Jay Haishman. Guy Peacher right now is going to be off the field. He's about 12 seconds off of your second pack. Does not appear to have all too much damage. Just simply lost the pack in the last cycle. Side by side, Tarbuck down low, Seth Well right up high now, and the number 4 machine gets the opportunity to lead the field for the first time tonight. And how about that for Tarbuck out in front, and he has been battling for victories like it's nothing. He's been looking for the checker flag as hard as he can. Ignite Series, Octane Series, wherever we see him, he's up there fighting. But he's been the bridesmaid one too many times for his liking, and Sethwell right now tries to keep it that way. 22 laps in out of a total of 130 up high. The Sethwell machine goes down low. Nick Tarbuck does, and it's going to be dead even between the Guillermo Alvarez machine and Alan Dobbs. Racing down the backstretch, it is no worry as they come through. Sethwell going to be able to lead lap number 23, and then it's going to be right behind him, Tarbuck and Alan Dobbs. Dobbs keeps himself in line with these guys as they come through the back once again. It's going to be lap number 23, led by the 88 once more. Now Dobbs is connected with Sethwell, and as we mentioned, he may consider doing just that if things get rougher on his end. It looks like they have just a bit, and now the driver of that number 05 machine has gone for help with the driver in the 88 right in front. Gonna be Nick Tarbuck down low with Guillermo Alvarez as they go side by side again for the lead. It's gonna be Tarbuck down low, then Sethwell up high, and they stay side by side as they rush down the back. And it seems right now all of this gridlock making a much cleaner race up in front. It's all about the strategy. You cannot make a rough pass unless you are the leader by at least a car length over the remainder of the field, and this begins to be a bit of a troubling factor for some drivers. If you can't make a move with aggression, what can you do? Well, right now, that remains to be unknown. It could be strategy that determines the race victory as 25 in. These guys up in front have not taken it 3 wide, except for now. Chris Schessler goes 3. He's going to have one way up high. It's going to be Nick Larson falling back, and one driver gives it a 3 wide equation here in Atlanta, and that man, the number 6, does, and he falls back. It's going to be Sethwell right now in the front of the field by 25 laps we've gone through, and still more than 100 to go. Guys are getting a bit antsier, but not antsy enough for second yellow of the night. A major save by Boomer Logan. Sam Nito Majanas to have our first yellow still come out, but it was a precautionary yellow. Ever since, we've gone clean and we've gone green. So great to see that so far. Guillermo Alvarez is going to be in the 3rd spot. Going to be Alan Dobbs and Ross Cato side by side one another, and Kyle Cooper right there in tandem. The Cody Smith machine, reflective numbers on the number 18, and you saw them shine as he came right down the front stretch into turn number 1. The 18 has something shining on it, and it's not just his number, it's the performance he's had up in front. That number 18 has speed, and now as the leaders go single file, he's going to have to use it. Wants that up front position. Track position might just become critical as drivers begin to analyze when they should come down to pit road. In the case of a green flag cipher, which we very well might just get, it's all unknown so far, but Sethwell has kept them guessing all night to this point. And now Kyle Cooper going to go down low, and Alan Dobbs tries to cycle him out of line. That he does. Alvarez goes down low, lets that 73 in. But Dobbs has him down the backstretch with that momentum up high, time and time again. And the fundamentals of racing on a banked surface are always coming back. And while Kyle Cooper did have an advantage for a brief moment, it seems like those up high like Ross Cato continue to get him at the stripe. You can get much more leverage, much more momentum. You stay up on a higher groove. You can use that speed, put the power down, and eventually get past your adversaries just like that. 9 times out of 10, if you come into a certain area dead even with another driver and you're on the high side, you will have the advantage. However, right now with the draft up in front, it's a great equalizer in a negative sense for Alan Dobbs, and he does not have an advantage with that extra speed. Every driver gets a boost, and right now Alvarez is in the tunnel with the top 2 guys who are now beginning to pull away. That's Nick Tarbuck, and that's Sethwell. 30 laps in, they're beginning to move with the remainder of the field. And this could be dicey for these drivers. Not quite sure how they're going to be able to react to this one, if they can at all. Sethwell now has Tarbuck right there with him, and as we look on board from the rear end, that number 4 machine staying loyal, getting a bit of clean air, and then going right back up to push the number 88 to success. As they come down to the front stretch once again at Atlanta, turn number 4, it's going to be bumping, shoving, and all of the above. And Alan Dobbs is right now waiting in the wings for anything to happen to his rivals in this race. So far though, they've all raced nice and smooth, and that number 88 machine has no need to prove anything more. He's up in front with a good car, and that number 88 machine for the National Guard has been able to guard every driver from the lead. It's been great for him, but not so great for those chasing. Tarbuck, Dobbs, and Ross Cato going to be second, third, and fourth. Guillermo Alvarez going to be in fifth. And how about Brad Patton jumping all the way up from outside the top 10 into sixth? That number one machine's on the move from McConey Setup Shop. He's set up just right inside the car right now. And that number one is not messing around at all. Slowly but surely making himself known in this field. And that number one machine goes up high with the 05 machine of Alan Dobbs and Chris Schetzler right behind. And great company for every driver out in front right now. They're still double file. It looks like it's now going to be the Seth Well machine clear by only one car length. It was a bit more, but he blinks, and that's going to be a bit dicey. Everyone lets off just a bit, lets him get back into it. But the number 33 machine and laps, well, it looks like no 33 in specific, but numerically 33 laps in, the 88 gives us a bit of a scare, and that could have been his night, and he could have been gone just like that 33 that we mentioned did not exist. Seth Well, invisible on your screen for just a moment, but thankfully he is back, and Nick Tarbuck there in second right with him. Ross Cater going to be side by side with Alan Dobbs this time through to go double file once again. Dobbs keeps it high, Alvarez lays down low and gives Ross that extra bit of a push through that he'll need to keep himself in position number 3. He has that edge going down to the inside line, and turn number 3 is going to be now a lap machine involved with the leaders. Guy Petra is right in front as they come through turn 4 this time. By Seth Well out in the lead of the field with Nick Tarbuck in second. Ross Cato there in third. Going to be Alan Dobbs in fourth. Guillermo Alvarez now going to be scoring fourth as Alan Dobbs goes down to fifth. And how about Caitlin Haight from outside the top 15 and qualifying for the Alpha Tauri number 11, now beginning to make some more time up on the remainder of the field. And that number 11, a winner in this season already, no worry about making it in the playoffs. She knows she'll be in it, is now chasing victories once again as she comes down to the track being side by side with that number 1, and she now has a spot over Chris Schetzler in position number 7. Alan Dobbs is going to be able to block down low. Now Dobbs has a bit of a shove. Could be able to use it if Brad Patton goes down low. That he does. And now they're all chasing the single file leaders once again. And 36 laps in, it seems like you're reorganized to be single file for about 5 laps, then go back up to double file racing for 5 laps more. And back and forth they've gone for quite some time here as Noel leads them down to the stripe. They're now going to be side by side for a second, but you can see Dobbs, Schetzler, and Carson Bechtel there with Nicholas Ward. They're all spread out much more than what we saw earlier in the going. And this number 83 machine of Guillermo Alvarez is absolutely no quit in this Camaro. It's going to be the number 83 pushing big for Ross Cato to get up into this lead battle. And you can see now Cato has an awful lot of momentum, able to not only clear Alvarez, but clear the outside line as well. And now he is on track to get with the leaders and perhaps mix it up for the victory. Early going though, 38 laps in, you can't be saying the victory is near just yet, but being near first place is better than nothing, especially here in Atlanta, one of those plate tracks where guys get spread out on their own accord, and it's much harder to catch them back. The second pack right now is dead even on speed with the first. That's on by Gallon Gimmon in the middle of this second pack. We're at 31.07, and your leader of Seth Well ran at 30.564. So not only are they dead even, it looks like right now in specific, your leaders are in fact faster than every other driver in the field, and they're beginning to pull away out in front. It's a 3-car breakaway with Tarbuck in second, Ross Cato in third, and your dominator so far, Seth Well, out in front in first. What a way it's been for the number 88 machine all night long. He's had control, but only 40 laps in, it could go away from his grip with over 90 still to get this one done. And right now it's going to be Alan Dobbs getting just a bit with Guillermo Alvarez. They're slowly but surely pulling into the picture. And with that, Chris Schetzler might be brought in as well. Alan Dobbs right there. You can see Brad Patton. Alvarez gets turned. Big hit to the side of the backstretch. And while he does get it going, the inside retaining wall is where he is. And now Guillermo Alvarez is in trouble. Take a look at our close-up drone shot. I can't believe what we just saw. A wreck inside the top 5. And we'll take it back 30 seconds and find out just what happened. And as you can see, taking it back into 2 of slow-mo, 2-speed slow-mo, half-speed on your live footage. And Alvarez, late block, Alan Dobbs goes down low, and he goes right into Dobbs there, and Alan can't do much about it. That number 88 machine is in front, but the 83 is the one that goes into the wall, and it's a big hit. Right now, Alvarez in trouble in the 7th spot. He was now down into the 24th position as Seth Well leads the way, 42 laps in, and on a total of 130. And drivers down to pit row include Jay Haishman and Alan Rodwell. They've been there for about 9 laps. No strategic pit stop just yet. And almost a third of the way through this one, it is led by Noel. We have Nick Tarbuck second, Ross Cato there in third, Chris Schetzler in fourth, Brad Pattinson fifth, and Caitlin Haight is there in sixth. Then it's going to be Alan Dobbs in seventh, Kyle Cooper in eighth, and Carson Baktel is in ninth. But Cody Smith for Next Level Racing is in position number 10. And you know what that means? Our first Next Level Racing promotional break of the night. High quality sim racing performance products, so dedicated sim racers get nothing but the best. And as of recent, Ferrari, an official partnership with Next Level Racing for all of your licensed good, courtesy of nextlevelracing.com. Be sure to visit high quality performance products since 2009, and we'll be right back after this brief presentation. Thank y'all for watching live on FTN. We're just getting started as we head to our first Next Level Racing break of the night. And that will be your first Next Level Racing promotional break of the night. Once again, nextlevelracing.com. High quality sim racing performance products for dedicated sim racers who want nothing but the best. Visit nextlevelracing.com for more information on this exclusive partnership between Next Level Racing and the Integrity Racing League. Right now, Cody Smith for Next Level Racing sits in the 10th spot, but look at who's up in front. Mott Jonas, who got damaged in that early incident on lap number 1, is still inside the battle for the lead as they're double file 6 rows deep. Nicholas Warren, the last of which, going to be 12 drivers up in front, holding on with Seth Well, Nick Tarbuck, and now Caitlin Haight's going to be scored as second, and she's right behind the number 88 as Seth goes right down low. Now she leads on the inside line. Now going to be the outside, as a matter of fact. They'll switch up and down, side by side. Everyone is with Seth Well, going to be able to take Haight through, and the 88 and 11 combo could get out in front, but not if Nick Tarbuck has his way. Keeps them both honest and keeps them locked up high as he goes down to the low line with force and momentum. Down to the stripe, they will be dead even at this rate, as your top 12 are now in their own frame compared to the remainder of the pack. And it has been a miracle of a race for Seth Wells so far. 48 laps in, he's controlled just about every one of which, from one standpoint or another. He's led the field for the good majority, no matter how you slice it. And coming out of the line for lap 50 next time by, he's had the field in his control all night so far. Going to be Chris Schetzler side by side with number 4 machine Nick Tarbuck there. Going to be Brad Patton right behind as well. And now Matt Jonas, Cody Smith all strung out in a single file fashion as the top 2, now top 3, are all alone. Side by side, they sometimes go, sometimes they don't. And it seems like now reorganizing to get a bit more momentum on the second pack. As it stands, they lead the second pack by 6 seconds. Jacob Fife in 13th at the moment. Tries to chase them back down, but last time through, Seth Well ran at 30.837 and Jacob Fife ran at 30.805. So they're just about dead even here in Atlanta. It is an awful challenge for any driver to get back with the leaders as soon as they lose them. The draft is not strong enough, and right now the speeds are not high enough to make an exponential difference. And they're just about gridlocked as the leaders come down the line this time through lap 51. Going to be on its way, 80 laps to go here from Atlanta, and that number 88 getting pushed for its life by the Caitlin Haight machine in the 11th. And looking off the rear end of the 88 machine, Seth well indeed. You can see Caitlin Haight right on that back bumper, giving all the aero push that is necessary to make it all work out, and work out it is as they come through time and time again. The 88 has the momentum advantage as he comes out of the stripe. Sethwell leads the lap, going to be lap number 52 that he's out in front of, and then it's going to be Caitlin Haight there in second. But take a look at this. Chris Schetzler, back after a few weeks of absence, is now up in front, and he is in control of almost every spot. He's currently going to be in the third position. Great to see him there as he fights to get into the lead. The number 24 having his best run in quite some time. The best he can get for the man in that 24, as he is saying yoo-hoo to the front of the field in that yoo-hoo Chevy Camaro. Brad Patton going to be in the fourth as it stands, getting closer and closer to the lead. He's been fighting, contending to get up there, but it seems like the contentious battle has disadvantaged him as the yellow flag's out for the second time. Alvarez down to pit road, and Jay Haishman this time by has an awful lot of damage. Let's find out just what happened. An instant replay on the matter. He was already down a pit road for quite some time here, so we're trying to find out, and I do believe, as a matter of fact, in that case, this is our stage break. So how about it indeed? We are going to have a stage break here and now. 54 laps in, and every driver gets a chance to recuperate and reset before they all get back in motion. So Sethwell right now waiting just a bit to get back on the way as he leads the way overall, as the iRacing official pace car is due to be right in front of him at a moment's notice. And the yellow flag falls for the second time, this time not for an incident. And now with Noel getting reset, the pack is back in order, and it seems like all is well up in front, except of course for those at the tail and just hardly hanging on. It is a challenge for every driver to keep with them as Sethwell leads them down to pit road for the first time tonight. It's going to be the 88 and then the 11 with the 24 there in third. Brad Patton going to be fourth as they all come down to pit road together. Sethwell sees that one driver stays out. That's going to be John Steele. They come down to pit road. Everyone enters in succession. This might be the money stop for now, but I'm not sure if it will be all the way. 20 laps from halfway. We could still see one more green flag pit stop as Sethwell due to come out any moment now. Some drivers already on their way in the back of the field. It's going to be 4 tires and fuel, the Goodyear rubber they needed. And now it's going to be Caitlin Haight trying to come out in front of Sethwell. Will he be able to do so? It looks like it's going to be Caitlin Haight, then Sethwell, then Chris Schetzler, Brad Patton, Alan Dobbs, Nick Tarbuck, and for there now going to be Kyle Cooper, Nicholas Ward, Ross Cato, Cody Smith with Nicholas Ward indeed, and then Carson Bechtel and Jacob Fife. And as we get going once again, Atlanta in what appears to be its stage break. Now, according to our analytics, lap 65 would have been the stage break tonight, but this race shortened from 164 down to 130, so everything had shrunk as a matter of fact. Caitlin Haight in the Alpha Tauri 11 now leads the way effectively over the entirety of the field, with Guillermo Alvarez and Jay Haishman being due to move out of the way, letting the leaders by in just a moment. And as that happens, the driver of the number 06 machine with an awful lot of damage, that front end is all but destroyed, and it's a lot of trouble for that number 11 to get through if she had to make it by under green. Thankfully, the rules here on iRacing state you don't have to do that. The way it is, it will be alleviated for you. The drivers will be given 1 lap back, and that won't be anything to worry about up in front. Jay Haishman going to be able to get that lap by, so is Guillermo Alvarez, and with 1 lap to green, it's going to be Caitlin Haight leading with Sethwell right beside, and then going to be Chris Schetzler in third, Brad Patton in fourth, Alan Dobbs in fifth, Nick Tarbuck there in sixth, and then going to be Cody Smith and the number 8 position held by Kyle Cooper. And there you have it, everyone getting on their way, 56 laps in, and it's all about that number 11 up in front. She's there for the first time tonight as the leader, but it's all been Sethwell's race, and he's had total control over the entirety of this field. Whether or not she will for the remainder of the race, whether or not he will for the remainder of the race, it is up in the air. It's all from here where it matters, as that numbered 11 for Ford is right beside the bow tie of the numbered 88. The top position for a Toyota as it stands, we'd have to go way deep in the field, and it seems like we often say that, as right now it looks like no top 10 driver is in a Toyota. Looking way back here, you'd have to look down to the number 27 machine of Victor Avila Felix. He's in 20th as is, and the number 27 top spot for the Toyotas. The rest up front are blue ovals and bow ties. As Motor City, we went there last night on the Ignite Series, but here in Atlanta, it's just about how you race, not what you're racing in. Down to the stripe, the iRacing official pace car goes down a pit road. The second stage going to get on its way here in Atlanta. Going to be Caitlin Hayden, Sethwell up in front. Green flags out after the Geico restart zone. We are back in action here in Atlanta. And Caitlin Hayden holds it out in front for now. Gets a major jump there with Seth Well in second, Brad Patton in third, and then Chris Schessler in fourth. They're double file out in front once again. It seems like if you get up to an advantage in this race, it always gets taken away from you. Now Caitlin Hayden falls back quite a bit. Not one, not two, not three, but almost four drivers clear in that same run. And now that number 88 might have a chance to make multiple passes in one run. It could be, of course, all about the qualifying. It could be about the pit strategy, but now looks like he's going to be shoveled out high where all the momentum might just be as Brad Patton takes it down there. Caitlin Hayden shoving as hard as she can, and the push to the bumper is like no other. And now Brad Patton could be one of the first drivers on the inside line to lead a lap at the scoring loop. Does he? I believe he did. And now Brad Patton is an adversary toe-to-toe with the 88 for the lead. 59 laps in, and Brad takes it down low. Seth keeps it high as they go side by side right down to the wire. Every scoring loop has been, and it is a shock to see any driver besides Sethwell up in front, and it looks like he's trying to keep it that way. Sethwell gets it right in front of Brad Patton once again. Seth goes high, Brad stays low. Gonna be a big tag. Chris Schessler gets right into him, but they keep it moving without much of an incident. And a great recovery for all of these drivers. It seems like they'll all get it back on their way. What a way to do it for the number one machine. He gets it tagged, gets it back in control. Schessler gives him all the room he needs. And Integrity Racing League doing sim racing right since 2012. And that's exactly why. That could have been wrecking any other league right there. But I'll tell you what, the competition, it is fierce. And now it's going to be a bit of a grace period for the number 24 machine as it gets right up in front of Brad Patton. Back to work. This time, new leader on the inside line, but the leader overall has been the same. Nick Tarbuck, though, now trying to get his claim to fame in victory lane as he has himself just a tenth of a second away from Seth Noel. The ever-dominant driver here in Atlanta keeps himself in the front of the field, goes down, he almost does, thinks twice, stays high, and it's going to be a nice look for the number 24 machine as Schessler has the momentum coming down to the wire. Does he get it? It looks like that he does not. But Chris Schessler now is a contender in the front of the field. And Schessler now has it by about a car length's worth as they run down the backstretch. You can see Sethwell gets a powerful surge of momentum, and now the 24 knows to block him, and that he does. Gets the shunt off the bumper, and it's going to be enough to lead this lap as the number 88 now held at bay. They'll take a free though. Schessler now getting fired out in the middle, and the aggression not liked by these drivers in the lead. They're going to take Chris Schessler out of the battle by force. Kyle Cooper goes down low just a bit. They're going to be able to save it, but now they're filing one out, and he is going to be left out to dry like he is a piece of clothing, hung out like it's nothing. They're going to be three wide just a bit though, as they still have Schessler and Nicholas Ward to deal with, and it looks like now Ward tries to come in to save the ailing number 24. Schessler gets back in. Nicholas Ward left alone once again, and the top 10 guys are back to double file with no risk of an incident just yet. 64 laps through out of a total of 130, and Sethwell leads the way. And side by side, still they are up front. How about a look at the middle of the pack here? You can see Nicholas Ward right in the mix. Now a good majority of the field is back together. Jacob Fife just a bit of a distance away from the first pack, but much closer than he was before. It still seems like Jacob is laying back, looking for something to happen in his favor, like a late race yellow. Batty has not gotten so far, but it certainly looks like that is what he is chasing as he comes out of the start-finish line. Once more, 65 laps into the total 130, and Sethwell keeps it high with Brad Patton right down low. It's Hayton Tarva double file once more, and halfway through the cross flags will wave next time by, and it's all about whoever leads this lap. The halfway bonus, they don't have one, but they certainly know if they get one, they'll have to use it to their advantage. Here in the Integrity Racing League, clean race bonuses, brackets galore, and a championship prize. But the halfway point doesn't mean much more than bragging rights. Sethwell gets it. It's going to be 65 laps to go here in Atlanta, and the 3 wide now going to be Cody Smith right there. It's going to be Caitlin Haight filed out in the middle. Does she stick? It looks like she might. And now that number 18 has to work with the number 11, as you don't want to see a wreck so early in the going. It might be at the halfway mark, but with Atlanta, it could come down to a 2-lap dash. So you really don't want to mess yourself up before you get to that checkered flag. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's exactly what the drivers are doing right now, and it seems like it's going to work to a major degree, as the number 88 machine has them all in check overall as he comes down the back with multiple drivers clearance on that outside line. And the outside of Atlanta has been oh so dominant all night long, and contrary to most super speedways and most simulators that show super speedways as inside controlled races, outside tonight has come alive for one big reason: momentum with a capital, and no other driver managing momentum like Sethwell, and no other line has momentum like the high side. The low line might cut down distance, but the speed is not enough, and Atlanta is determined by tenths of a second every lap, fractions of tenths of a second here. So if you aren't on it every lap and you don't have the perfect way around, you will suffer the consequences. At the line this time by, getting lap number 69, and they're going to get real antsy there. They save it, but it's going to be real close for Patton and number 93 machine to Ryan Farrell. And look at that, a nice save in the middle of the field. Caitlin Haight tries to get by, and Ryan Farrell, while tapping the wall, is still going here. And Kenny Real slowly but surely makes his way into the picture, the 16th as is. And 62 laps to go here in Atlanta. Kenny Real now in the top 15 for the first time all night long. As you might have noticed early in the going, he was laying back waiting for the yellow flag, the stage break, to get him back into contention. And once he got that, he got on a roll, knowing that that could be the last opportunity to stay with the pack. He might need to put the power down just a bit more for any opportunity out of the win, but slowly but surely putting himself in the position for a successful finish. Out in front, they're still battling side by side. The joust for first has been the most exciting and enticing all night long, and it's a bit challenging to find battles in the midfield at Atlanta compared to most other tracks. So we kept a lot of focus on the lead battle because you see almost everything right behind it, and you see most of the passings up in front. Overtakes at Atlanta in the middle of the field are very risky, because if you do go 3 wide, down low, in the middle, up high, you could cause a wreck. We saw Ryan Farrell was able to avoid one, but that could have been much worse without some discipline in that car. So you don't know what you're going to see. These guys going at it. It's going to be the driver of that number 88 leading the way this time through. Chris Schettler right down low, and 72 laps in. They're all proving to do what they have to for the win. Kyle Cooper is still there in 5th, and Cooper having one of his best races all season long. Kyle Cooper, one of those guys who races race in, race out, but sometimes does not have the pace to go out there and chase checkered flags. Atlanta, the great equalizer, and using it to his great advantages right now. That 73 is right in tow with your leaders, and Sethwell in that number 88, while the leader on the high side, Chris Schutzer, is down low as the leader there. The 73, if push comes to shove, could be the man promoted to the front if a wreck happens right in front of these guys in the battle. And 2 by 2, the entirety of the field is, you can see, all the way down to drivers such as Luis Caballero, Ryan Farrell, Majanas there, Victor Avila Felix, Sam Nito, Stan Carnathan even. It looks like right now, Nick Larson, the final man in this 2 by 2 gridlock, who's on the lead lap. Guillermo Alvarez and Guy Petra are not. So it goes down to position number 23. They're side by side, just about 11 throws deep, and the competition, it is fierce here as they go double file once again. That number 24 machine has kept Seth well as honest as ever and might be the biggest contender that he's had all this run. And no other driver managing the inside line any better. At the stripe, it's always a battle between these two, and it seems like Cody Smith giving him the momentum he needs as well to keep battling. And teamwork making the dream work out in front. Take a look from the perspective of the pushers. Now Nick Tarbuck pushes the number 88 machine to Seth well as Chris Schetzler stays down low. And Schetzler goes for the aggressive block, gets cycled out 3 wide in the middle, and funneling out aggression as we've seen before. Nick Tarbuck gets by him, and the number 24 gets swallowed up by the field once again. And we've seen this once. It happened in just about 20 laps time beforehand, and it could happen again. But that number 24 experimenting until it all goes wrong. It's all about trial and error right now. It's going to be all about all the learning you can get, and educating yourself as a driver makes you that much better. So good to see drivers like Chris Schetzler learning even still as the push for perfection is still on. But take a look who's out in front right now. It's going to be Cody Smith in that 18. Kyle Cooper is in second. Carson Bakewell is in third, and it's going to be now that fourth machine in position. Seth well as Caitlin Hay is now in fifth, and you can see Carson Bakewell right beside the 88. Tonight has been polarizing up in front. Many drivers from many different backgrounds and many different positions usually in these races all up in front. It has been a melting pot of great racing and great racers. At 78 laps in, Cody Smith now has a chance. It's the highest spot he's been in all night long, running in the bubble in the top 10 for the good majority of this running. And now it seems like he might have himself in position to lock up perhaps a top 5. This is the best that driver has looked all throughout the show here. And now with the best position he could possibly in, it looks like he might just contend till the checkered flag drops. Down the line, it'll be 51 laps to go. Kyle Cooper now going to be in third, and the 73 machine goes down low just a bit, goes to the apron almost, does not leave that number 88 or the 18, as he knows that would be certain doom for his run with the leader. Schetzler going to brush up with Alan Dobbs that time through. They're still door banging just a bit as they come off the wall. It's going to be Schetzler side by side with Dobbs, giving him absolutely no room, and it's getting antsy here in Atlanta. Alan Dobbs side by side with Chris Schetzler. They're now 3 wide, middle with Carson Bakewell, and Carson looks to have that edge with Alan Dobbs right there. Chris Schetzler going to be right in the mix. They're still 3, as close as it's been all night long, and Schetzler gets that edge. Brad Patton gives him the push right out, and it's the push of life, the shot of life that he needs as they come through 3 wide. Going to be Seth well there with Nick Tarbuck. Then it's going to be Cody Smith in the 3rd spot, Kyle Cooper in 4th, and Chris Schetzler is there in 5th. Now 50 laps to go, and while we saw him file out just a few laps prior, he is back, and it seems like he finds his way in whenever it is most necessary. Seth well leads the way from the remainder of the field here and now in Atlanta, and Nick Tarbuck now goes high just a bit to get some clean air, and while it does not mean a pass, it could be more sustainable for his engine in the long run. Now, we mentioned sustainability not as a concept, but of course electric energy. These are still internal combustion engines with the fuel Sunoco. It's all about keeping the engine in check though, and if you can do that, you can go all the way. The oil temps and the water temps under intense drafting can rise up to a point where you can blow the engine, and when Nick Tarbuck goes for that clean air just about half lane higher, he gets himself back in order, lowers the temperatures, and gives himself a chance to chase the lead once again, consequence-free. Seth well out in front has that clean air. That's a major advantage that not a lot of these guys have seen all night long, and with such an acclamation to it, he knows how to keep it and how not to lose it, unlike a good majority of this pack. So when Seth Well finds out something like that, he holds on to it, and now the rest of the field has to keep trying to adapt to it and perhaps find a move around it. We'll find out whether or not they get that next time by, as 84 laps in, Seth Well leads from Nick Tarbuck, and the third man in this order is Cody Smith for Next Level Racing. One more time around, Next Level Racing, high quality sim racing performance products since 2009. Visit nextlevelracing.com for more information about the highest quality sim racing products for dedicated sim racers who want nothing but the best. We'll be right back after this brief presentation, courtesy of a proud partner of the Integrity Racing League, nextlevelracing.com. And that will be your second Next Level Racing promotional break of the night. Once again, a proud partner of the Integrity Racing League and the Integrity Octane Series as well. The winner of the championship, both in the Ignite and the Octane Series on Monday and Tuesday night respectively, well, they will win a simulation rig worth $2,000 courtesy of Next Level Racing.com. High quality sim racing performance products since 2009. And as we can see, the Next Level Racing machine in that number 18, fighting to the nail for this win. Up high once again, it's going to be Seth Well taking a Nick Tarbuck right now. Going to be in second though, and they're all double foul all the way back to drivers like Don Stevenson, Victor Avila Felix, and Nick Larson now in 25th. Very few drivers out of this pack. It looks like as it stands, only about 7 drivers in this race are not in this main pack now, and as they all keep it double foul, they're all waiting to log the laps down until the checkered flag is in the air. The white flag might be the signal to go, 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 as lap number 88, the man who's been the show, gets filed out 3 wide. This could be jeopardy for Seth Well, and it looks like it just might be. Schessler taken to the middle, and it looks like Seth Well right there with him. And now that number 88 is in the middle of a big pack, and it's going to get hectic here if that number 88 cannot escape. Tries to get up high. He does. Brad Patton lets him right in, and now he's back in work. But Nick Tarbuck leads from Alan Dobbs. Nicholas Ward there in third. Cody Smith going to be in fourth. Seth Well going to be in fifth. And it will be Alan Dobbs right now fading back. However, it's going to be that Cody Smith machine right there with Chris Schessler. When we say fading back, we do not mean it all too much. It is just a bit of a light fade back, letting Nick Tarbuck get that lead so he can use the draft to get right back. It is all about making himself known when it matters. And Alan Dobbs gives a bit of time and breathing room to all of his competitors before making a pounce at it. Dobbs has been one of those guys who's always good on strategy, and tonight has been no different. However, it has been a very simple strategy all night long, and many drivers are still on the very same one right down low. Seth Well takes it right back to second in the flick of a steering wheel, and he's now back in contention. He gets way hooked there, keeps it safe, but that could have been very disastrous as Seth Well gets locked up with Cody Smith, saves it, and now Schessler's right in front. 40 laps to go, time is running out, and now drivers are acting like it, as you can see some more frantic and manic moves as the panic sets in for every driver not named Nick Tarbuck. Tarbuck now leads the way, goes up high, gets that clean air, and gets that momentum. He'll easily lead this lap at the time in scoring loop, and it will be the number 4 machine taking them down with 39 laps remaining. New lap machine going to be on the horizon. That looks to be the 91 of Luis Caballero, and that it will be, as he's now 30 seconds away from the field, goes down to the apron, lets them all right by, no room to go anywhere else, and the 24 does not have to worry about a pickoff there. No damage, no incident, we stay green. And 3 wide middle, going to be Alan Dobbs fighting for second alongside Tarbuck there. You can see it's going to be a big wiggle though for the Seth Well machine as they take it side by side once again. There you have it, 38 laps remaining. It is all about the 05 in that battle, and in the thick of it, they keep it going as Chris Schetzler right there in first. Alan Dobbs is in second, Seth Well third, Nick Tarbuck fourth. They're going up, down, left, right, and we said passing Atlanta would be hard. It seems like these guys have no regard for what we said. They're making it look easy here as one guy goes down low, going to be Boomer Logan. Logan back in the mix. And while Boomer got caught up in the first lap incident, he's now in the running for this win. Down low in the 9th spot, Boomer Logan is. And how about that? Welcome back to the field. Here Boomer Logan is, and he was a sponsor of last night's race to 10 questions with Boomer Logan 200. And tonight, he looks to be chasing him down in the final few miles. 195 in store for every driver today, 5 less than last night. Doing the double, it takes quite a lot. And tonight, more than ever, Logan looks to be in contention for a victory in the Integrity Racing League. Down low, he is on Nick Ward and Cody Smith. Smith up high, not a lot of momentum on the turns, and it seems like it's all about doing or dying right now. Those turns might take you out, but the straightaways where the draft happens equalizes every racer. No matter who you are, no matter your talent, it seems like anyone can compete up here, but it takes a certain skill in itself to stay caution free. Only one caution for cause of the first lap of the race, and only one other caution, a stage break. However, from there on out, we have been clean and we have been green, and it has been beautiful to watch as Alan Dobbs leads from Chris Schetzler, Seth Well, and Caitlin Haight in fourth. Going to be 10 o'clock on the Eastern Seaboard. 35 laps to go. Stay here, don't change anything. This is when it gets the most intense. And if you do enjoy the action, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. This has been action-packed, hectic racing all night long, and that number 05 machine of Alan Dobbs knows that this could be his chance for the win. So to Seth Well, Nick Tarbuck does as well, Caitlin Haight in the mix, and say no to Chris Schetzler. It would be a hard time to do just that. Schetzler knows his playoff chances might hang on this victory, or if he doesn't get it, they might be deterred and destroyed. He would need this one worse than anyone else up in front if he wants to get into the first round of the playoffs, and knowing that, he'll have to chase this one down with aggression and passion. LSRDV, Charles, I think that's you. Thank you for stopping by. Great to see you here as we're getting things geared up. 33 laps to go, and you can tell that 24 keeps it up high, all for the momentum. And with the powerful surges in and out, front stretch, back stretch, and the turns in between, Cody Smith gets loose that time by, and there in 7th has a bit of trouble keeping a handle on it. Sam Nito right there in 10th. He's going to be in 2nd in that number. Of course, it's number 2, but right now not in 2nd position. Started well, fastest in 2nd practice, but that Ford Mustang has damage. Will it be enough to deter him from racing for the win? Not quite sure just yet. It could be, it could be not. It's a dangerous scenario, but right now you have to take what you have and go with it. You get what you get, and you can't be upset if you made it 99 laps in out of 130 at Atlanta. It seems like very few drivers have wrecked, and absolutely no driver has officially retired. Every driver who earned their spot in this server tonight by qualifying, they're still here, and 32 strong. They all could be on the racing circuit together. A few have terminal damage, still on pit road, getting it fixed, but Schetzler leads those that are still racing. As it stands, it is a total of 26 drivers in this contingent pack, and then we have Guy Petra 1 lap down, Caballero 1 lap down as well, and then John Steele on pit road for a prolonged time, and then Guillermo Alvarez the 30th back on his way. Side by side, there were 30 laps to go, this time through 100 laps in the books. Schetzler leads lap 100, and Caitlin Haight is right behind him. Double file besides the top 2. Well, tries to take it down low with Caitlin Haight, and she does not take kindly to it. Uses that momentum to get right out and put the surge back on. And right now, it looks like the back of the pack is a bit of a shuffle. You can see Ryan Farrell moves just a bit in the Amico 93, and with 30 remaining, Schetzler now has control the way Seth Well did early in the running tonight. And one thing we might mention as the night goes on, drivers in control will shift as the race goes on, most often due to changes in the track condition. We saw it last night in the Ignite Series. Michael Stroll won in a dominating display. However, in the first run, he had a 6-second advantage. In the second, he had a 4-second advantage. And then in the third, he had a 2-second advantage at the end, and that dissipated over time because not only was there a bit of a wear out fest, no cautions, it got a bit intense for every driver, but also because the track changed. It could have been conditions that were not favorable to the way he was driving the car, and that could have made him a bit of a more challenging driver to keep the tires on it, because it could have been his driving style affected by the weather. Tonight here in Atlanta, the weather definitely affects the tires. These tires are scorching their Goodyear rubber off, as Atlanta, down south, it is the Sun Belt in the USA, and these guys burn these tires off like they're nothing. Right now, Chris Schetzler has a lead by a wide margin over the inside line. Seth Well and Like, they are now being filed out more and more than we'd expect. And smoke off the pit exit there. Not quite sure who it comes from. It could be the man up in front, and that looks to be Randy Fiash, and that it is for the Philadelphia Eagles. He did not go on pit road recently, so I do not believe it was him. However, we see someone was in trouble last time they went by, and that smoke is just about a lap old at most. The leader is not going to keep that in their mind. What they do keep in mind is that the battle for every spot is not over yet. Caitlin Haight right there in second. Is going to be Nick Tarbug in third. Nicholas Ward going to be in fourth. Brad Patton in fifth. And right now, Patton has himself a day. He's been up in front in the top 5 all night long. And last time this league went into a super speedway, well, who won it? It was not him, but Brad Patton finished inside the podium. It was a photo finish for the win. Patton almost got it done, but it was not his night. He had it down pat till then, and then the number 18 took off. Cody Smith won that battle, but will he win the war of the super speedways? Might be able to do tonight. He's still up there in 7th, but there's no guarantee that any of these guys win it, as we could still have a late race caution that shifts up the complexion very, very radically. Chris Schetzler still leads the way, though. Caitlin Haight now about 0.2 of a second back. Schetzler goes up high, gets that momentum, dives right down low, a bit of a diamond arc on the high line, as it's going to be a big shunt. It's going to be a big shunt indeed for that number 1 machine. Brad Patton gets himself all the way shifted, and now he'll have to fight it back on the low line without much help. He gets it loose. That takes some momentum, takes away some speed, and it might be too much taken away too late. Not quite sure. It's all variable here, as we can see a big pileup. It's going to be Seth Well, Kenny Reel, yellow flags out in the 18 of Cody Smith involved, and Jacob Fife goes around. Ross Cato involved, Colin Gimman, and the big one that we've seen so far, this is the biggest, is here in Hampton. Let's find out just what happened and get a wider angle on the scenario. Now, I tell you what, the biggest wreck we've seen all night long, and it looks like it all begins with this. Seth Well, Alan Dobbs. Dobbs puts the quarter panel in from Seth Well to him, and then Cody Smith gets involved. No checkup from Colin Gimman, no room for him. Ross Cato right there as well. Alan goes into Kenny Reel. Then Cody Smith goes into Seth Well. That's his night. And Jacob Fife looks to get tagged there, and that he does. And this is major. Bobby Ross makes it out. Good majority of this group does make it out. Seth Well now rolling in reverse here. And drivers going into the inside of the grass. You can see Ross Cato right there. Don Stevenson went inside the grass entirely. And with 22 to go, this changes everything. Alan Dobbs leads the way out in front as it stands. Kenny Reel now scores your leader, but it's all about who stays out. Alan Dobbs does. Kenny Reel seems to be your leader overall here. Not sure why. As you can see, guys like Colin Gimman there. Jacob Fife now in 4th. And the winner off pit roads, Caitlin Haight, aimed at number 11 here. That being said, things are getting dicey and things are getting feisty. Drivers getting a bit more antsy. It's all about aggression, taking up late, and we've got just a bit of time. Kenny Reel is, according to your timing, scoring the leader, and I'm not quite sure why. He just disconnected from the session or our end, but Kenny Reel goes out of the session as the leader, and it looks like he's going to stay on pit road. Maybe tries to alleviate losing a lap. Maybe had to disconnect for some personal reason. But the 28 on our end is down and out. Alan Dobbs back in front. And with 22 laps to go, Not often we do this, but it looks like we have a bit of time, so we'll be able to thank all of our associates and those who we work with live on FTN. Let's get ourselves an FTN nonstop break. Fireball Talks nonstop. You'll see the cars on your screen. You won't miss anything as your leader comes down pit road. We'll be right back after a brief message from all of your supporting anchors on the FTN YouTube channel. Gonna thank them dearly as you're watching the Integrity Octane Series live on FTN. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And as we return with 21 laps to go live on FTN, we are going to get in or crank it up just a bit late. A caution with about 23 to go. So our trackcams22.com crank it up will be here. And now the best cameras on iRacing, we're glad to have them night in, night out to present the best viewing experience to all of our viewers indeed. It looks like the caution going to get extended one more lap here, so we have a bit more time to talk through what is left. 110 laps in out of 130. This time by make it 111, and we now have only 20 laps remaining here in Atlanta. How about that? Time is running out, and time has flown for every driver here, and it seems like it's going to come down to this. It has been all about the long run so far, but now it could be a short dash that determines your race winner. And Caitlin Haight, Chris Schetzler with Seth Well out of the picture appear to be the drivers to beat. Seth Well, as is, an awful lot of damage in the back of the field in 19th, actually 18th now, after Kenny Real actually got out of contention entirely. One lap down as is from your leader, just about 2 laps to go. Perhaps coming back into the track later on, but the 18th spot is now Seth Wells with no front end, and many drivers damaged here. It's going to be a battle of beat up cars, but some like the 11 and some like the 24, they'll have all the power in them to battle to the very, very bitter end. 20 laps to go, this time by for Caitlin Haight. Chris Schetzler, pit strategy is out of the window. Everyone pits with very little time remaining. It's done and done there. The only strategy from here on out is chase that checkered flag and do what you will to get it done. Let's get right back at it. Second restart for cause. Let's go this time through. Caitlin Haight leads Chris Schetzler. Green flag's down, and let's crank it up. Courtesy of the best cameras on iRacing, trackcams22.com. 13 laps to go. Caitlin Haight is your race leader out in front of the field with Boomer Logan now in second. Once again, TrackCams22.com, the best cameras on iRacing, and we hope you enjoy seeing them as much as we enjoy using them. As it stands, Caitlin Haight holds on 117 laps strong. Ken Real in the chat, thank you for stopping by. I'm not quite sure what happened on our end, so if you do have anything to tell us, let us know. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Drivers, viewers, your feedback is always greatly appreciated here on FTN, and we love to hear more from y'all every night of asking. Caitlin Haight out in front there in first, going to be Boomer Logan in second, Kyle Cooper there in third, double file, multiple rows deep as they take it in for the Baker's dozen. 13 laps to go here in Atlanta, and down low Caitlin Haight goes with Boomer Logan there in second, Brad Patton in third, Kyle Cooper there in fourth, Chris Schetzler in fifth, and double file they still are. It seems like gridlock has been the norm in Atlanta, but certain drivers slowly but surely pulling away from the tension and the restrictions. Slowly but surely, it seems like drivers like Caitlin Haight begin to put the power down, and it seems like that number 94 of Boomer Logan now back in free reign. Second spot there, the 94 machine is caught up in the wreck. Kenny Real was. Well, I'll tell you what, we weren't quite sure because I saw you were up in front of the field by about a lap there, so we thought something else was going on, like you had to disconnect. Either way, though, no disconnect between Boomer Logan and Caitlin Haight right now, as with 12 laps to go, the 94 working well with that 11 as they come to the front stretch once again. The leaders all there with one another, very little disconnection, and they know that anything could go wrong. 11 laps to go. We've seen it time and time again. If there can be a wreck, there will be a wreck. And while that might be the case, it might not be as well. Nothing is a given. Atlanta's a sea of variables, and anything can change on a dime. Right now, it's all gone to plan for the 11. Coming down a stripe this time by, make it a total of 10 laps remaining as the leaders come right by the line. Caitlin Haight leads them through, and with 10 laps to go, we'll get this one out of the way. Your final Next Level Racing promotional break of the night. You won't miss a thing. Let's get it right done and done right now. NextLevelRacing.com, high quality sim racing performance products since 2009, and the best place to go for all your sim racing needs. We'll be right back after this brief break live on FTN. And that will be your final Next Level Racing promotional break of the night with 8 laps to go. Caitlin Haight out in front, and you can see Boomer Logan still on that back bumper. And Caitlin Haight, one of the 8 drivers who is up there in a lock-in contention for the playoffs at the moment. Now we say grade 8, but there are more than 8 eligible. But if you are in that safe zone, you might be good to go so long as you show up the rest of these races. The Next Level driver, her right now out in front as we take a look at the championship standings. As you can see, still the top man on the board is Tom Wetmore in that 51, but drivers like Noel, Caitlin Haight, and those up in front in contention like Nick Tarbuck are in the green right now. Well, they're all guys in the bubble zone who have to pick up the pace for any chance at a championship victory. The blue is the man on the bubble, the red is those who are behind him, and the green is where you want to be if you're a racer in this league. Make it 7, make it 6 laps to go. It's Caitlin Haight out in front with Boomer Logan. Now Kyle Cooper there in third, and it's the rise of the underdogs all night long. And how incredible would it be for Boomer Logan to get it done for his first victory in this season to come the night after the race he sponsors. What a look it would be for the man in that number 94 machine to get it done. And with 5 laps to go, we're going to overtime. Sam Nito, Seth Well, back under yellow. Let's find out what happened. and sending it back one lap here. Well, not in the picture, but it was Sam Nito right there with Ross Cato, and then gets into Colin Gibman. And that's going to bring out your yellow. Sam Nito spins off Colin Gibman. And with 5 to do it, the yellow flag is out, and we will go to overtime. And how about that? Sam Nito involved with what could be the final wreck of the night, and a green-white checkered will be in effect for every one of these drivers. Nobody going to go down a pit road this time by. We'll wait one more lap to see who does and who does not. However, I believe it will be unlikely to see anyone come into pit road unless there is an emergency. Position number 1 for the 11, it is still Caitlin Haight, your leader. And Boomer Logan is there in second as they come through. It's big weaving from Carson Bechtel, and drivers up in front like Kyle Cooper, Carson Bechtel, Chris Schetzler, Trevor Trago, and Stan Carson are not the guys you see up in front contending for the victories in the tail end of these nights most often. However, here at Atlanta, anything could happen, and these are the drivers who now are faced with a chance of a lifetime to come home as a race winner in the Integrity Racing League. This field is always competitive, always intense, and it takes all of your skill to keep up with them. So it might just be enough for these guys like the 82, the 37, the 59, the 73 tonight to make it happen and come up with the first victory that they'd have to get out of Caitlin Haight's wrath. She has held this field down for 20 straight laps. No driver doing it like her so far, and Boomer Logan on the back bumper waiting till the white flag knows that right now loyalty will get you to the end. Now, with 4 laps to go, you can't afford to misuse loyalty. An alliance up in front is more important than anywhere else. If you got the driver in second working with you, and you've got the leader working with you as the man or the woman in second, it will help you out to an incredible extent. If you're in the middle of the field and you have teammates, it could help you, but it might be all up to what you can do up in front with someone else. It might not be the mid-pack teammates that help you. It might just be whoever is up in the top 5 or the top 10. Natural green, white, checkered, 128 laps in at the moment. And it does appear the driver in that number 11 will lead them in to our first overtime attempt of the night, or per se, our first green, white, checkered. We will be eligible to have at least 3 green, white, checkered attempts after this one if we don't make it back to the white flag. The odds of that, however, are incredibly slim, and we don't see that all too often in this league, so the race might be called within 3 laps time. Let's find out though as they come down the stripe. It's Caitlin Haight there with Boomer Logan, Carson Bechtel in third, Kyle Cooper in fourth, then Nicholas Ward in fifth. Trago, Tarbuck, Schetzler, Fife, and then Brad Patton round at your top 10, and Stan Carnathan scored in 11th with Bobby Ross 12th, Jorge Canales in 13th, and Cody Smith in position number 14. And rounding the final turn for what could be the final time, the iRacing official pace car drops in and lets the drivers go to work. A packed house in Atlanta and a packed virtual crowd as well. Let's get right into it. 128 laps in, making 129, and we are feeling real fine. And green, white, checkered here in Atlanta, led by Caitlin Haight. It's 2 laps to go in Hampton. And that time by, it's going to be a great start for Haight and Logan. Boomer right there in the backstretch has that bumper right there. Make sure nobody can get to her. And that number 11 has it clear over the remainder of the field. Caitlin Haight goes middle. Now it seems like Boomer Logan plays defense. And you can see Kyle Cooper right in the back bumper. Caitlin Haight has everyone in the back bumper as they go 1 lap to go. This time by, the race will be official. Big Sam and Nicholas Ward way down low. The white flag's out and they're wrecking already. Jacob Fife, Chris Schetzler already around, but the rest of the field keeps going. Carson Bechtel there with Caitlin Haight up high, and Bechtel's teammate Trevor Trago right there with them, and teammates working together. Gonna try to split Caitlin Haight 3. Does not work. Caitlin Haight has the momentum, has the advantage, and coming out of turn 4, it looks like the teammate's going to get a podium, but it might not be enough. Caitlin Hayne out of turn number 4 to drag race, wins the round 11 for Atlanta, and it looks like domination at the end is all that matters. Caitlin Hayne wins a dramatic green-white checkered for her second victory of the season, and the 11 for AlphaTauri is back in victory lane. And Caitlin Hayne returns the top spot on this chart as a great field of 32 is led by one, and it's the 11 who now comes down to burn down the house here in Atlanta Motor Speedway. The first time this league has tackled the brand new configuration, and it is not without its fanfare. What a night and what a win for the driver in that number 11. Froba Fett, thank you for stopping by. It was a crazy fun race on our end as well. And the number 11, Caitlin Hayne, wins from Carson Bechtel in second. Then it's going to be Nick Tarbuck there in third, Trevor Trago fourth, and rounding out the top 5, Kyle Cooper in position number 5. Indeed, Boomer Logan, a great night for him. 6th place finish, the best he's had all season long, with Nicholas Ward in 7th. Stan Carlton back on the scene in 8th, and Bobby Ross in 9th with Ryan Farrell, position number 10. Then it's going to be Cody Smith in 11th, Nick Larson 12th, Ross Cato in 13th, as Brad Patton is there in 14th. Then it's going to be Jacob Fife 15th, Matt John is going to be in 16th, and Colin Gibbon will be 17th as Victor Avila Felix is in 18th. Sam Nito 19th, Guy Petra in 20th, and the remainder of the field goes as follows. Don Stevenson 21st, Jorge Ganal is going to be in 22nd, Randy Feisch there in 23rd, and Chris Stetson, the final man on the lead lap, number 24 machine, in 24th. Then from there, Seth Well going to be in 25th from the pole position. Luis Caballero, 26th. Alan Dobbs, 27th. Guillermo Alvarez in 28th. As Kenny Real in the 28 comes home in 29th. John Steele, position number 30, 38 laps down. And your early retirees, Jay Haishman and Alan Rawa, 31st and 32nd, respectively. As Caitlin Hayne gets to burn down the house, let's get an uninterrupted look at the celebration from the number 11. The burnout, the number 11 back on the win, down in victory lane as Caitlin Hayne parks it right on the front straightaway. How about that for the number 11? And victory lane finds her once again. How about that win? Caitlin Hayne for win number 2 of the season gets it done at New Atlanta Motor Speedway, and back on top, the number 11 dominates the later segment and comes home victorious here from New Atlanta. How do you feel after this one?
That was actually a little bit tired there. That was especially with those final 2 laps, that was like a lot, I think.
And it all came down to an overtime finish here, and it seems like the short runs, you got down to it as the best driver in the field. The first half dominated by Seth Well, but you came in there and began to pick away at that success. So what was your key to getting up there and staying there?
In the first 2 super long runs, I was just trying to maintain some decent tire wear, but once everyone got sort of spread out towards the end, it was very hard to actually make passes with the air and all that, just a whole bunch of air tight. So I was just sort of content to ride. But in that final run there, Boomer and Kyle were just really helping me out, just really pushing and staying right on my bumpers. So it was just a bunch of people working together that really got me into the position to win it.
And it seems like finding help where you were was the way to go. Now, we saw you and Boomer Logan working very well up in front. Was that the most important factor, or was it all about everyone else in total? And once again, looking for a copy here. Was it all about Boomer Logan pushing you to the end, or was it all about the entirety of the field in a whole?
Oh, sorry, I bumped the mute. Logan just sort of like really helped, and then we started like committed to working together there in the final 20. So, like I said before, just big shout out to Logan there. Him and Kyle, like I said, just really helped sort of seal this for me.
And able to steal the win when it matters. Caitlin Haig comes home on top in the 11 machine for win number 2 on the season. Now, the schedule's been all about the ups and downs, the twists and the turns. Next up after Atlanta, we're going to take a look on our end right now. From round 11 on to round number 12, it looks to be Iowa Speedway for 200 laps. How do you feel going there?
I have no idea. I haven't touched Iowa for years, so I guess I'll find out.
Well, there we have it. Looking to find out next time we go racing. But tonight, she knew what she had in store for the entirety of the field. Caitlin Haig gets it done for Atlanta. Any final thoughts? Anyone else you'd like to thank?
Pretty much want to thank everyone that puts Integrity League together and keeps it running. Really, really tough competition, but it's really fun at the same time. And I want to thank your broadcasting these races. It's it's really fun to just go back and watch what happened from like up top and just see what everyone else is doing through the race.
Great to hear that. It was a great show to watch live here on FTN. Caitlin Haig gets it done for her second win on the season, winning here in Atlanta. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you.
And there we have it. Caitlin going to be on the way there, getting it home in position number 1. How about that as we get our second place driver in for what I believe will be his first podium on the season. We slowly but surely work him into the broadcast booth. How about this for the 59? First podium here in the Integrity Racing League, I believe, for Carson Bechtel there. And how do you feel as the 59 comes home in second?
Really good having two McConey wanted Goons cars up in the top 5. Like, wish we got that P1. I was dreaming about it coming out of 2, but it fell apart a little bit. But P2, I'm not going to complain about that. I've got a full smile.
And the team came alive late in the going. You and Trevor Trago from McConey set up shop, as you mentioned, found yourself up in front, set up for a great finish there. So how was it with you two working your way up? Because I saw you guys slowly but surely making the rounds and eventually being there when it mattered.
Yeah, I had kind of chilled up about like top 10, back of the top 10, top 15 for a long time. Then I was running up high and I grazed the wall and I fell back and I just happened to get right back in line by Trevor. And from there on, we just kind of made our way up for the last like 30 laps. Caution fell right in our hands.
And the caution coming your way now. Long runs, short runs, we saw all of which was the best for you? Was the longer runs we saw where tire strategy almost became a factor? Or was it the overtime or the green-white checker we saw that really made the difference?
I had tried to position myself for a like some green flag stops going on. Like I felt like if that worked, I'd probably be in a really good spot. I knew how to enter pit road pretty fast, and I had saved an extra lap worth of fuel, so I knew I could make it farther than at least a few people. So if there was going to be a wreck, I'd get that caution on my side. I'd start out front. But then yellow came out, and it was just, I was in the right spot, right time.
And the right place, right time for a second position and his highest career finish here in the Octane Series. Atlanta, a great race to build momentum off of. Now, next up, going to be Iowa for 200 laps, 200 miles it comes out to, I believe. How's it going to be going there for another showdown on Tuesday night?
Oh, it's going to be a pretty big learning curve for me. I missed the Xfinity race, that race, I think, last week. Missed that one at Iowa, so I'm going to have to come in, put some laps in. But I think I'll get this thing in at least top 15.
And looking to keep it solid from a high in the season, Carson Bechtel comes home in the second spot in round 11 of the championship hunt. Almost there for the victory for the first time all season long, right up there at the nail-biting finish. Any final thoughts? Anyone else you'd like to thank?
Wanted Goons. I was supposed to just paint one truck for them, and turns out they love my work, so they put me on. They built this iRacing program, and they're like, "Let's get him." And it's been a blast climbing through the ranks. I've got a few teammates help me out: Brad, Patton, and Trevor. Every Integrity race, always have those guys to fall back to. And big shout out to the Vancouver tribe watching the broadcast. They cheer me on every week.
And great to hear that, as Carson Bechtel, a reason to cheer him on. A great finish and a great run throughout as he comes home second here in Atlanta. Thank you for your time.
Well, thank you for having me.
And there we have it. Carson going to be on his way, comes home in second. And finally, as we get your last man from the podium, Nick Tarbuck once again, oh, so solid. And looks like we brought on the wrong guy. My apologies. Look at that. Looks like I messed up there, but it is Nick Tarbuck who comes home in position number 3. The number 4 machine makes it home in the podium once again. How was it here in New Atlanta and unknown for every driver?
Oh, man, that was unexpectedly amazing, honestly. I mean, all around, I think we all went into this kind of expecting a little bit of a mess and caution fest. It's really tough track. A lot of lifting has to go on. It gets pretty tight. You get loose, actually, depending if you get hit in the wrong spot. And I think we all expected a little bit of a different race than what actually happened. And man, it was awesome. I mean, finishing third, great cherry on top, but just being part of that and just, that was nuts.
And part of an intense finish, I would say, especially there in the final 2 laps. That restart made all the difference. And what kept you up there, as we saw everyone got shifted up before coming to the 2-lap dash.
Yeah, I think never lifting on that last restart. Throughout the race, there was a lot of give. A lot of guys were, taking their liberties, trying to block lanes and whatnot. And I was lifting and being pretty patient to make it to the end. But at the end of that race, I mean, it's, 3 laps to go. You're not going to lift. So just pushing whoever was in front of me on the high lane. Trevor, I thought was going to stay with his teammate, but then dove low. And, the high line had been getting good runs all night. And I figured that it would get a good run out of turn 4. And luckily it did. But Carson held a pretty good bump there because I was not centered with him at all. And I was going a decent bit quicker and I didn't lift at all. And he somehow held it. So I think that's the only reason we got home in third today. But, yeah, that was just that was a crazy final restart. It was just no lift and hope for the best.
And it looks like the best just about came to you, able to get back up into the podium once again. Now, it's going to be Iowa up next. We saw in the Ignite Series a few weeks ago. Will that success carry over as we head to Iowa once more in the Integrity Racing League?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Iowa's kind of a tricky track for me. And the Xfinity Series race, it wasn't particularly great for me. But, this is a totally different car. It drives entirely different, so that doesn't really matter. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know much about Iowa and how to drive it well, so it's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. But, we'll see how it goes. I'd hope for at least a top 10. Not my strongest track, and the track I don't know very well, but I think I can manage at least a top 10.
And looking to stay solid after a great finish here, one of NASCAR's most unpredictable tracks. Nick Tarbuck comes home third in Atlanta. Any final thoughts? Anyone else you'd like to thank?
Yeah, thank you for broadcasting. Edmonds, thanks for putting on a good race. Thanks for all the drivers tonight, putting on a crazy show for the fans. Thanks to any of the family and friends out there that might have watched, tuned in. Yeah, that's about it.
And there we have it. Tarbuck keeps it brief and gets it home in third here in round number 11 of the Integrity Octane Series season. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
And there we have it. Tarbuck on his way as Caitlin Hay comes home for her second win of the season, getting it done here in New Atlanta. What a way to get it done for the number 11 squad, winning round 11 of this season. And with that being said, Caitlin Hay winning, and that will end down this presentation. A great race it was indeed. We'll be back on Thursday night with a Highline Racing League, and we'll be taking Wednesday off, hopefully to be back very, very soon. And that we will be And it looks like, of course, the presentation ends here and now. Got to thank all the viewers for watching tonight. Got to thank all the drivers and the incredible show put on at one of NASCAR's newest tracks, and the unknowns were handled very, very well. So that being said, I'm David Kreutz, your host for tonight's broadcast. Thank y'all for stopping by. This has been the Integrity Octane Series, and this has been a presentation of the 11th round of the season from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Thank y'all for watching. We hope you have a great night from the FTN Live Studios.